Your alternative talk radio contact. The Planet. KGRAradio.com.
With infinite complacency, people went to and fro the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space.
Welcome to another episode of Into the Fray, leering at you from the woodline. Visit the mothership at intothefrayradio.com. There you can find all the episodes, the blog posts, ITF gear, and sign up for the free guest newsletter. The weekly show is, of course, always free and available in all podcatchers, but if you'd like to support the show, and why wouldn't you, go to the website and click Become an Insider, which in turn gets you extra content each and every month. And by the way, if you would be so kind as to leave a rating and review in your listening platform of choice, Cosmic Karma shall be yours. Be part of the discussion by joining the interactive ITF Facebook group, follow on Twitter at ITF_radio, and Instagram. If you have an experience that you'd like to share, email Shannon at intothefrayradio.com. Thanks so much for listening. Now, if you would be so kind, buckle up your safety belts. Put that tray table in the upright position. Liftoff is upon us.
Right. No, it's fine. I'm good to go.
All right, Mike. Well, yeah, wherever you want to start. If you want to start with the creepiest one or the first one or wherever you feel comfortable.
Okay, well, this incident happened, I think it was about maybe 12. I think I was about 12 or 13. I think it was like 93 maybe. And what happened was, it was one late night. I was staying at mind you, I'm a city guy. I'm terrified of the woods, but as long as I have friends or family with me, I can manage,
Mm-hmm.
But so it was my little cousins and a bunch of friends. We were all playing this game, Manhunt, which I'm pretty sure everybody's played. Hide and go seek,
yes,
whatever. And this was in the country. It was at my grandmother's house, and we all generally lived near each other. But my grandmother and my grandfather lived right next door to my grandfather's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like, the distance between their houses were like, I would say 10 feet, 15 feet at the most. So we played the game of Manhunt. It was next door to another neighbor's house, which was not far from my grandmother's house. He had a gigantic yard, a lot of land. I'm not familiar with acres and stuff,
mm-hmm,
but let's just say it was almost probably the length of a football field.
Okay.
And so it was about, I say summertime, July, August, about maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So anyway, we were all playing the game of Manhunt, and there was about 20 kids, maybe a little more, 20, 25. And everybody was just going for broke. But for some reason, I had this really weird feeling that night. I felt like I was being watched, or like, and that was weird because obviously, we were playing a game of manhunt, but it was a different kind of feeling of being watched. So, I wanted to stay as close to my cousins as possible, or, the friends that, we were playing manhunt with. I definitely didn't want to be by myself. And obviously, I was a chicken anyway, so that wasn't going to happen. But the front part of his yard was pretty open and clear, barring a few trees. And then like on the borders of his yard, it was like dense woods, and completely in the back of his yard, dense wood. It was like almost a half of a football field worth of open area, in his yard. And then obviously around those borders were complete woods. So just kind of like picture that setting in your mind. Well, me and a cousin in particular were hiding in the border to the left of his house, and everybody else was just like, going for broke, like hiding cars and, in trees and everything. And me and my cousin were like squatting down, like right on the border of the open area of the kid's yard and, the dense, woods.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can, basically we could see everything that was going on, and we had a strong idea nobody would creep up behind us. And our mutual cousin was, she was being chased by the kid the guy who owned the yard and everything. He was it. And he was really athletic. He was like in all kind of sports, really fast, you know what I mean? And my cousin also she was a track star when she was growing up, really, really fast. So we were like watching it, and then she was being chased by him, and she was running so fast and laughing, and she was like looking back, and all of a sudden, bam, she smacked into the back of his mother's car. And she fell down. She got hurt really bad, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then we heard it. We barely saw it because it was so dark. And he had one light in his yard, and it was like kind of like a street light type of light, but it was like in the center of his yard, right behind his house. But it lit up a good amount of his yard in the front. So we kind of saw what happened, and we definitely heard it. And all of a sudden, he was just like, "Yo, everybody come out. Summer's hurt." She was like hurt really bad. So everybody started coming out of, their hiding places and everything. And it was just crazy. And she was bleeding real bad. And I think she really cut her leg open. And so two of my cousins were carrying her. And me and my cousin that was hiding, two of the last people that actually come out of hiding, and we like really lagging back, and we was like talking and joking around and like trying to see at the same time see what was going on. So as they were like leaving out of his yard, now in between his yard and my grandmother's yard was a pathway. You can go through the pathway. It was like a shortcut, or like a trail kind of, but not really like long. It was, I would say it was about maybe like 30 feet maybe worth of trail. You can either take that way, or you can walk around outside to the street and then come back in the yard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, they obviously took the street, and I was looking as we were trying to catch up to, my cousin to see how bad the injury was, and she was crying and everything, and they were like, "Yo," everybody was saying goodbye to each other. And okay, now right on the edge of the street, the dirt, all right, it goes the street, and then there's like a little dirt patch, like sidewalk, but instead of a sidewalk, just picture that being like white sand, tannish white sand, and then there's the dense, woods.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to be hard. I think maybe because you obviously haven't seen it, but yeah, if you can like try to picture that in your mind. Okay, there was like some kind of like rose bush right on the edge, in between the street and the woods, there was like this really big, really dense bush, and it had these giant thorns on it. Like, they were really sharp, and they were like pretty long, almost as long as maybe like a thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
And they were pretty sturdy too. So like we used to it was bad. We used to poke each other with them and stuff.
Right.
And yeah.
I remember those from Ohio. Those things are very hefty.
Yeah, and the stalks are really thick. Like literally, you can like do some real damage with those things. But anyway, so I was like kind of like lagging back maybe a little too far. And I was like telling my cousin, let's just call him Chris. I was telling him to, wait up, because he was like getting a little too far ahead of me, and I wasn't running. And so he's walking like out towards the street to go around, and I was debating whether I should walk through that path real fast or just follow him. And I was like, you know what? Because I was already having that creepy feeling about being watched, I was like, yeah, I'm going to follow him. And just as he was coming around. Oh, gosh, this is crazy. All right. Just as he was coming around the thorn bush, he was like right next to it, almost like he wanted to reach and grab one. All of a sudden, oh my gosh. Please bear with me.
It's okay.
Shannon, there was, oh, wow, this is so weird. A giant, it was like a portal. Just please, like I said, try to bear with me. It was a dark portal, literally, like opened up inside of like right on the edge of the bush, and all I saw was the top part of a torso, and it was a shadow, like some kind of massive, like bulky shadow type of like being or entity or something. And it, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything as fast as what it was. It was literally, it was a little faster than blinking your eye. If you blinked or held your eyes closed for 3 seconds, you would have missed the whole thing. It literally came out, put one arm around his mouth and one arm around his waist, and pulled him inside of the portal, and it, bam, it closed up just like that. Literally 2 seconds, maybe tops, maybe 3, I'll say. 1, 2, 3, over with. And I was just so, oh my gosh, can just remember just seeing it now. It was his legs. It was so strong and so fast. Shannon, his legs came off of the ground. And the creepiest part about it was he never made a sound. Not help, what's going on? Nothing. It seemed like it seemed like whatever this thing was, it paralyzed him or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. But then again, it was so fast, so I can't. But the way that it happened, it was like I just seen his eyes. They got so big, and while it was happening, I was so scared. I jumped back, like further into the middle of the street. Mind you, I was like maybe like I was to the right of him, like I was more in the street.
How close were you to him?
Obviously, I was I would say 6 feet maybe.
Okay, so you're really close.
6 to 8 feet.
Okay, so
yeah. So
your cousin got grabbed and taken into this portal, and so he didn't come back. That's it. You were the last person to see your cousin?
No, it gets really freaky.
Oh, okay.
I mean, even weirder. So, okay, he gets grabbed in the portal. It was like a vortex kind of portal, because you can almost see like a spiral type of looking thing.
Okay. And
like I said, the top half of a torso, whatever it was, it didn't have to step all the way out of the portal. Like just the top torso part.
Did you see a head at all?
Yeah, it was. It was. It didn't look like horns or it was whatever it was. It was like ears, kind of like not on the side, but closer to the top. I know a lot of people use the word opaque, kind of. I'm not super familiar with that term, so
Right.
I want to say, like I said, it was transparent, like you can almost see through. Yeah, you could see through it. You know, to the whatever it was behind it, but it, you know, obviously it was distorted. You know, so but like a shadow. Just picture like a shadow. You know, just like a shadow actually stood up in front of you. You know, kind of like how you feel like you could see right through it and behind it.
Right.
That's what it looked like. It was a shadow. I'm 100% sure. But I could see the outline of it was dark though. It was a dark shadow.
So the
Like,
only
you know,
thing that came like physically out of this portal were its arms, though, right?
the top part of the torso.
Oh, the
Like,
whole torso came out.
up.
Okay. I was
Right,
sorry.
from the
Yeah, I
waist
just
up.
thought that was all you could see. I wasn't sure if that's what actually came out. So the whole torso
Yeah,
came
no.
out. Oh my god.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I seen the whole from the waist up.
Wow.
And this thing was pretty big, like tall, because from what I would say like maybe something like 7 feet, maybe. You know, from from the torso up, it looked like it because I looked up. You know, I was looking up when I saw this happen, and literally his feet flew off the ground, and like in his arms, you know, like as if he just got yanked off his feet, and bam, he got pulled into that portal. I jumped back, scared out of my mind.
So you did say that when it reached out, it had one hand over his mouth as well, right?
One hand over his mouth. Yep, definitely. One, like, literally, it was a big arm, and it was like, but I remember seeing the hand go over his mouth and one around his waist, and like snatched him so fast, and literally it was like, and it just closed up, like, there was no like disturbance in the rose bush or nothing.
Wow.
I looked in there and I was like calling for him, but mind you, I was like almost on the other side of the street now, because I'm like, whatever that was, I definitely, as fast as that happened, I know it would be able to grab me just as quick. So I was like almost on the other side of the street, looking into the bush, calling his name. Nothing, no response, no nothing. And just then, my grandmother comes to the door, and she's just like, Mike, come in the house. It's time. It's getting late. All the kids are going home now. What are you doing out there by yourself? I was like, Grandma, please. I was like, come outside. Chrissy just got pulled into the bush just now. I just saw him. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Grandma, please. I'm telling you. I just saw him get pulled in the bush. Just come outside. And she's like, no, you just want to hang out there a little longer. I want you to come in the house now, or I'm going to get your grandfather. And I'm like, but Grandma. And she was like, now, or you not coming outside tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was just so mad and, confused. I just, I followed her orders, and I was walking towards the house. Mind you, I'm looking back the whole time. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, as I was going in the house, I'm like, Grandma, can I just go next door and, tell the family that I just saw Eric get pulled in the bush? And she's like looking at me like with this weird look, like, maybe a little confused, like, but I could see she was starting to get aggravated, like, in other words, I was BSing.
Right.
And I just wanted to hang out a little longer. So anyway, I came in the house and I see my grandfather. He looked at me, and back then all he had to do was just give you a look, and that was it.
Right.
So I just started, coming in the house, and I'm just really like beside myself. I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, my cousin just got pulled in this bush. What the heck is going on? And I'm just, bugged out right now. I'm just trying to process all of this. And I was like really mad. I knew she was like, I could see she was aggravated, but I kept pressing the issue. So I just kind of like left it alone. But in the room, I just remember I barely could sleep that night. I was laying in the bed, tossing and turning, and I just wanted the morning to hurry up and come so I can hurry up and run outside and look, investigate a little more, and then run next door and tell my family what happened. And I was waiting like for the ambulance and the police to come. Literally, I heard nothing. No, nothing. The whole night until I fell asleep. Now,
Because weren't his parents, before you go on, wouldn't they have come over at some point and gone, where's Chris? Or
well, see, that's the thing. He was older than us. He was, I think at the time he was maybe, okay, like I said, I was almost somewhere in between like 10 and 13 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he was maybe like 18 at that time.
Oh, okay.
He was a lot older than us.
Okay.
And not only that, we were all over our grandparents' houses for the summer.
Gotcha.
That was his grandparents' houses, and I was at my grandparents' house. So his mom and dad obviously didn't live. They lived in Violent. And my aunt, she was old, and she really stayed to herself in her room all the time, and they pretty much did, let's be real, they pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. She wasn't like really strict or stern,
Gotcha.
We was able to just come and go pretty much. Well, not me. They were, they was a few years older than me. Well, my cousin that was next to me, and he was like I said, maybe about 18 or 19 at the time, and his brother was about probably 14 to 15. So, like I said, I got up the next morning. I remember running right in, I was looking for my grandmother, and I wanted to let her know that I was getting ready to go outside. She was like, don't you want to eat breakfast and everything? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I will, Grandma. I was like, I just want to go run outside real fast and just see what's going on. And she was like, well, why don't you come eat? And I was just like, all right, I will, Grandma. Let me go run outside real quick. So, bam, I rushed outside. I ran right to that bush because now it's daytime. I wasn't afraid. And I was like looking over at the bush. I'm like examining the bush everywhere. I literally went all around it. No clothing, no blood, nothing. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? Maybe I imagined this. Maybe it didn't even happen. So I fly next door. When I open the door and I'm walking in, I'm like, I was asking my aunt, I was like, has anybody seen, Chris? And she's like, yeah, they're both in the back.
Oh.
So I'm like, what? Like thinking in my head, like, what the heck? Okay, maybe he got away or something. So she was asking me again. She asked me, did I want anything to eat? I was like, no, I'm fine. So just as I was getting ready to open her door to go in the room, they had opened the door before me, and they came out. And I'm looking at them. And my other cousin, which is his younger brother, came out first. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, yo, is everything cool? What's going on? And he's like, yeah, I'm about to go outside. And I'm like, all right, well, where's Chris at? He's like, oh, he's coming out right now. And there he goes. So my younger cousin was like kind of like looking at me. He was like, let's go outside. And I'm like, all right, cool. So he walks by me. Now Chris comes out, and I'm looking at him. I'm examining his body and everything. I'm like, yo, Chris, what the hell? I'm like, what was that thing that pulled you in the bush last night? What was that? I was like, I saw you get pulled in the bush last night. You didn't even scream. You didn't fight. I mean, like, it was like, I happened so fast, but I was like, bro, you didn't, like, make a noise. You didn't put up a fight or anything. What was that? And then he's, like, looking at me like, what are you talking about?
Oh, my gosh.
And then my younger cousin was like, what is he talking about? I'm like, yeah, y'all didn't know, but me and Chris, like, lagged back for a little while after, our cousin got hurt. And she went, and when you guys went in the house, Chris, he got pulled in the rose bush. He didn't even scream. I was like, no, nothing. I'm like, and I'm looking at him, look, there's no marks on him, no, I would have thought the thorn bush would have literally, like, ripped his arms to pieces. Like, those thorns were thick and they were sharp. I was like, he looks fine. And then, like, they would look, even my aunt started looking like, what the heck is going on? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, looking at him like, Chris. Now I'm looking at him now, and he's kind of like trying to ignore me for some reason. I'm like, Chris, I know what happened. I saw you, bro. I said, you got pulled in that bush last night, and you didn't even scream or nothing. And he was like, whatever. So they both turn around, and they start walking towards the front door. This is like, well, oh, gosh, this is so freaky. Okay, my younger cousin goes out first, and I'm behind. Now, mind you, I'm walking behind Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns around, he looks at me, and he grins at me.
Mm.
Lord is my witness. He turns around, he grins at me, and he turns back, and he starts walking outside. And my mouth dropped to the floor, and I just was like thinking in my head, like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, my gosh.
Scared the life out of me. Literally. I couldn't believe I literally just couldn't believe what was happening. And he honestly, he had no marks on him. Nothing. No visible, nothing. But he didn't explain how he got back. Nothing. Nobody was like saying like, yeah, he came back 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. No, nothing. I thought that was so weird.
Why in the world did he turn around and grin at you?
Why did he turn around? And that's been the question, $1 million question all my life. And I just recently reached out to a couple of my cousins, and I just finally told them that story. Literally, I told the cousin because I tried to convince myself that it never happened. That's how afraid and how crazy it made me. All of these years, I really tried to kind of put it at the back of my mind and act like it was just, a figment of my imagination through all these years. And how it really became a reality is when the actual cousin, the one that got hurt that night,
mm-hmm.
I finally asked her, I was like, yeah, do you remember that night we played Manhunt and it got crazy and you ran to the, she's like, yeah, of course. I still got the scars. And I was just thinking about that, a couple of years ago, matter of fact. And I was like, well, I got something to tell you. And then I told her the story, and I'm not 100% sure I believe she believed most of it, but I think she was being like nice and maybe, I don't know, a little condescending. I don't know. It was weird. But she just was like, oh man, that's crazy. I can't believe that actually happened. You mean to tell me like, he got snatched, abducted that night, and then he was back home the next morning? I said, yeah. I was like, what happened? Did you see him at all? She was like, well, no, I got patched up, and I just remember going to sleep. I didn't have to go to the hospital. And I was like, so you don't remember like not seeing him throughout the night or anything? She was like, no, I just like I said, I went to sleep and I woke up and went about my day. And I was like, oh no. She was like, you sure that all happened like that? I said, yeah, that happened. It's just the way I told you.
So, of course, the other question is what happened to Chris while he was in that place, whatever that place is, right?
That's, I wanted to talk. He's the one that I actually haven't talked to all of these years. I've talked to his brother,
mm-hmm.
and I begin to tell him a little bit of it, but I never actually gotten to that point. But now I'm going to tell you something that was also, just as freaky. He has been diagnosed with some kind of disease where he can't walk for certain times of his life. He goes on these periods where he's confined to a wheelchair, and it's like a medical mystery. Like the doctors still haven't figured out what it is yet. And then there's times where he can walk, and then there's times where he's confined to a wheelchair. And it's really crazy. And that's been happening ever since. I haven't told them that, but I did the math, and it's been happening since that incident.
Oh my gosh.
That's been happening to him. Yeah.
Do you remember what what that's called? What the disease is called? I'll try to look it up once we get off the phone.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't. They don't actually know what.
Oh, they don't have a name for it even. Okay.
Well, as far as I know, I'm not going to say they definitely don't, but as far as I know, the word is throughout the family is that he's been having these episodes in, where they can't really figure. I think I heard vertigo, maybe. I still don't even actually know what that is, but I've heard that.
How long will he go? What are the usual time frames of him being in a wheelchair and then not?
I remember a period of time where it was like a year, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe a little less.
Where he was in a wheelchair.
Happens off and on.
Wow.
Right. This happens off and on all throughout his life. And I think now he's more so really messed up now, of late. He's been deteriorating throughout the years. I think it's getting really bad now. Now, mind you, I've kept in contact with the family, but I haven't actually talked to him personally because I'm afraid. I'm going to be honest with you.
Right.
Now, mind you, I'm 6'4", 270-something pounds, but that has just literally freaked me out throughout the years. I don't know how to approach him. I've only talked to 2 people in the family about the incident, outside of telling my other cousin, which is his younger brother, a portion of the story. But those are the only 2 people in you that I've actually told the full story to.
So what about his family? I mean, do they feel like, oh, well, yeah, Chris was different after that whole incident? Or, I mean, besides the whole wheelchair thing, of course. I mean, did he act differently? Or, I mean, I'm thinking of that whole grin thing that he did, and it's like he knew something, of course.
Exactly. Let me tell you what I feel like. What I feel like is something went inside of him, or something maybe. Man, this is so weird. Maybe something took him over, or something, because that grin just didn't seem like him.
Right.
It wasn't him when he did that grin, and it's like something inhabits his body at times.
What did it is? Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you said the whole grin thing, I'm like, uh-oh. I mean,
right.
That added a whole nother layer there. Obviously, he turned around and gave you a grin because he's like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I actually think it's funny that you're afraid or whatever. It just seemed very odd of him to do that, obviously. So what about his younger brother? When you brought up part of this story even, did he say anything about this?
No, because I really didn't get to the part where I told him that, he got snatched, I just didn't get to the abducted part. I chickened out. I wanted to tell him the whole story. Something happened so I didn't really get a chance to go any further, and I've been meaning to over the last few years, ever since I told my girl cousin, the one that ran into the car.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she's told him by now, which I doubt, because she's always been pretty straight-laced. I don't see her. She's a God-fearing woman. I don't really see her telling him that. So, yeah.
No, I understand why you wouldn't want to bring it up. I totally get that.
I want to ask him so bad. I do.
Yeah.
I just never worked up the nerve, because I was like, if he said some crazy stuff like, now that you know, or you think you know, I'm coming after you or something, I know it sounds like some stupid movie stuff, but I'm telling you, that grin that he gave me.
No, I don't think it's stupid. I mean, if you saw that and then had that experience with him the very next day, I would be assuming, okay, you're not Chris. Who or what are you? Right? Where did you put him?
Yeah, I mean, now I've seen movies obviously, Body Snatchers, and see that. Mm-hmm. That's when my imagination ran wild, and I was just like, oh gosh, what if there's some truth to that, and things like that actually happen, so yeah, that's why I was really creeped out about it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you haven't told me what your stories were, so I didn't know about any of this before we hopped on, and when you said, oh, I kind of have an idea of what's going on out in the woods with some of them, at least some of the missing 411 stuff,
right.
I think I just
And
brought
you
up.
know why?
Hmm?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was gonna say
Oh,
that.
that's okay.
I kind of like when I was hearing those stories. Bam, that it was so crazy how that came right to my mind.
Well, Pam,
You know,
Pam had the since you are one of the insiders, you got to hear the story of her going to Ireland, right? And there was that. Remember that portal situation that she seemed to be in, and then she lost her sight for a while. That physically changed her. She's had all kinds of experiences that are,
yeah,
and they're all tied
now,
to nature and the trees and
right,
the stories of missing 411 that always baffled me. Besides the kids ending up at the top of a mountain barefoot with no injuries,
yeah,
but the ones where
yeah,
you have like a parent and they can see the child, and then the child just goes over the crest of a small hill, and then they're at rounding that
poof,
same hill, within moments or seconds, whatever it might be, and they're just gone, and you're like, how is that even possible? It happened that quickly. But from what you're saying you saw, it's literally just longer than the blink of an eye, and poof, you're gone.
you see how I came up with that. Like that's what I mean, because if whatever that thing was able to like come out of a portal and like snatch somebody, and bam, like as soon as you blink, he's gone and the person is gone. I understand how you could be walking with somebody and then you talking to them and then you turn around 1 second, they're there, and then you turn back again and they're gone.
Do you think it's just an opportunistic thing because he was so close to it, or do you think it chose him and it had been waiting for him? I mean, it's a hard question.
Very, sort of. Yeah, I'm 50-50 with that because, mind you, when I was telling you, I really was getting the feeling. I'm telling you, it was creepy because it was like almost like a spidey sense, like where I felt like, okay, something's weird's going on.
Right.
And not only that, I feel like something's like keeping an eye on us. It's not cool. Like I want to be out of here. I really wanted to be done with the game because I just didn't like that feeling.
That's true. You said you thought about taking the path, and then you're like, nah, I'm going to go with my cousin. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That has played in my mind so many years. What if I was the one that took that path? That was my thought. And I felt so bad, because, I'm glad it wasn't me. But at the same time, still, like, I felt like if I would have took that path, I might not be talking to, you right now.
And see, how does this stuff work? I mean, how close do you have to be to, and can they do that with any foliage, any tree, any bush, right? Like, can they manipulate anything?
Right. That was another question I had for myself. Like, I do think it's like opportunistic. I'm leaning more towards opportunistic, like whatever this thing is. I just think it's opportunistic. I'm just going to leave it at that because I have so many more questions than that and so many more theories, you know. But that it changed me. It really did. It changed my whole life because I felt like after that I was even more paranoid of the woods, and oh my gosh, man, the things that used to go through my mind. I was always afraid of that portal thing, because of how fast that happened. I was just like, man, I was just always afraid of the woods. I was afraid of the woods from Jump Street, but once that happened, oh gosh, I almost didn't even want to come visit my grandparents anymore.
I was gonna say, I'm sure that was however much was left in the summer. You probably didn't want to go outside very much, and then the years afterward also. But how close was Chris to that bush? Like if he reached out, he's like, okay, so it was right there.
Yeah, he was like right there. Like if he, extended his arm, it would have, getting scraped up by the thorns.
Okay.
Like he was definitely within arm's reach.
Oh, and was he a big guy? Was he tall? Was he a big guy?
No, he's shorter than me. He's about 5'11", maybe 6 foot. not short, but he's shorter than me.
Yeah.
And he's never been a big guy. He's maybe like always been between 175 to close to 200 pounds at the heaviest.
Still, to get snatched up like that in just a swift one motion, right?
That thing was extremely strong. I mean, cause it was like nothing. It literally, wow! It looked like he would have had no problem doing that with one hand, easily. It was just that fast, and he was that strong.
You know what also is so creepy is that this thing, whatever we're calling it, if it's an earth spirit or a FRAY or whatever we want to call it, who knows what exactly they are, but it had the foresight, even though you were right there to see it, maybe it didn't realize it, I don't know, that's kind of odd too, but it actually had the foresight to clamp a hand over his mouth.
Right, yeah, that bugged me out too, not so much, where it's like I dwelled on that, but I was like, wow, man, that thing didn't want him to scream.
Right.
So, yeah. And I've never seen that's the thing, as I've started getting into the 411, I've never heard any stories, really, not many anyway, if any, where somebody was like screaming help. It's gotten,
right.
In crowds or even when the person is with another person, that whoever is the one that has as good as a witness can be, you never hear him say, well, yeah, he started screaming, but I couldn't save him. The thing is just so fast and so strong. The portal thing, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're okay, I'm sorry. Before I lose the thought, though, when I had Ash on, and he was talking about when he was out, he was taking the group out that they were out studying boas, right? Boa constrictors. And remember when he thought, okay, I'm gonna be cool, I'm not gonna call out, but I feel like I'm kind of lost here somehow. I don't know how this happened. And then finally he's like, screw it, I'm scared enough. I'm gonna call out to the people that were in the tower. And they were not very far. They should have been able to hear him, and they could not hear him. He said they didn't react. Wait a minute,
I'm sorry, Shannon. I'm lost right now.
His name is Ash, and he's in. Oh my gosh! It fell out of my head where he was calling, where I talked to him from. I'm gonna forget. I'll send you the link.
So this is a guy that yeah, because honestly I don't. I like to pick and choose. I'm really picky, and I try to listen to stories that I feel like pertain to the stuff that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I will send you this. You will be very interested in this. Yeah.
The wolf thing, whatever they call it, Dogman. The fairy thing, mostly things that I can relate to, that I've witnessed that actually happened to me.
Yeah.
Because there's been quite a few things that has happened. And before I forget, I didn't tell you this, but whatever Pam, that's her name, right? Pam?
Mm-hmm.
The lady, whatever thing that she has, I was able to do that. That used to happen to me.
What was she doing?
Where she was able to see things that other people couldn't see.
Oh my gosh! Are you talking about the things on people's backs?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
God. Yep.
I know. That's why oh my gosh, that story resonated with me so much. I couldn't believe when she said that. Oh my gosh, I was just chills went up my mind. Up my arms and my back and stuff when she said that. My grandmother used to tell me, and my mother, they said that they thought that my mother was able to do that, and she said that it's called the eye of discernment. That's what my grandmother said, something like that. There's you'd be able to discern things that other people could, see, things that other people weren't able to see. It's like the veil is lifted or something.
How many times have you seen that?
Not a lot. I would say maybe about 7 times my whole life where I've seen something looking like something attached to somebody. But I was able to, like, I was seeing other things, like spirits and things like on the edge of the woods, like stuff like that. More so. Not so much seeing, like something attached to somebody. But although I did, that wasn't like, like the general thing that was like routine for me.
So that's really the first time that you've heard anyone say, like, spot on something that you've seen, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, outside of my mother, even though my mother, she said she didn't want to scare me. When I was a kid, I never actually asked her about it anymore since I've been older. Like, hey mom, did you, like, I never really went in detail.
Right.
But she told me that she was able to see things and things happened and like really freaky, and she was like, I wouldn't want to like get nightmares or destroy your childhood by telling you stuff that happened to me. So
right, no, we try not to scare our kids, right? So
right.
And you said that your grandmother also could see these things.
No, my grandmother was telling me that my mother was able to see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, my mother used to tell my grandmother about the stuff that she was seeing.
Is there anybody else in your family that you know of that can do that?
No, not offhand, but I doubt it because I'm pretty sure maybe they would have probably told me. Well, I had a cousin that said, I know if you ever heard about the witch ride in your back thing. Now, they call it, now it's different. They call it sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas though when we were younger, that was what it was called. You had a witch riding your back or something, or a monkey riding your back or whatever. Have you heard of that before?
I think like the old hag syndrome. I know I've heard.
There you go,
of
old
that.
hag.
Yeah.
That's another term.
Yeah, but that's a good one too. Monkey on your back. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, old hag. Yeah, all of that stuff. But that's pretty much. What it boils down to. It's like you being held down and you can't move and you can't speak. The whole 9 yards.
I'm still trying to process what happened to Chris. I just feel like
I totally understand.
Yeah, it's Do you?
I want to make sure you're as thorough as you possibly need to be.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like it was Chris that came out? The other side of that?
Honestly, Shannon, I'm on the fence. Seriously, I'm still on the fence to this day, which is why I haven't really reached out to him. I'm afraid he might say something that would traumatize me.
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
Even if he joked with me, it would creep me out.
Right.
Because of what I've already saw.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just wouldn't want him to say something that would make me just, like, lose my mind.
Were you guys quite close at that point?
No. Me and his younger brother were close because we were close in age.
Okay.
He was a lot older than us, so, yeah, he was, like, he was driving a car and all that already, which is, well, not at that time he wasn't driving, but, I think he was old enough to drive, though. I'm not mistaken. I think he was at least 17 at that time.
So do you feel like in withholding the whole walking to not walking situation, would you, just ignoring that for a moment, because that's horrible, but do you feel like Chris has had maybe either bad luck since then or really good luck? I mean, barring the other stuff. I mean, you know what I'm kind of getting at? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but, I really haven't interacted with him or, spoken to him, so I can't really say, whether he's, like I haven't been paying attention to his life or, even asking too much about him.
All right, so even just through family members, just nonchalant saying stuff. Okay, I gotcha. No problem. Yeah, I was just wondering.
Like, it really strained the little bit of relationship that we had. Seriously, it strained it to where as though it was pretty much non-existent. Besides, like, yeah, how's he doing? And such and such and such. Oh yeah, he's fine. besides, the wheelchair thing. Oh, okay, damn, sorry to hear that. But that's it.
Well,
Not
yeah,
like, I need to call him.
I'd say after seeing what we saw and then the smile, I would say that would put a strain on any relationship of any sort. So I can't even imagine. You're like, did that really just happen? You really just smile at me?
Right.
And it was I'm
No, I
I'm
feel
just
bad.
picturing a demented smile, like a knowing smile, like he knows exactly what you're talking about.
You couldn't have said it any better. That knowing smile. That's the smile that he gave me. Yeah, I know, and I know you know, but I don't care, like, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, it's almost like he was just like, "Oh, wouldn't you like to know?" Well, you wouldn't, but you would.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know what happened last night? Really? But I'm just gonna let you stew about it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
Sure,
I'm not laughing. I don't think it's funny. It's terrifying. But I'm just like trying to process
I
it,
got
and
you.
it's a lot. I don't know how well I'd be sleeping for however many years after seeing something like that, Mike.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. Well, you have other tales then.
Right. Now the other one pertains to this Dogman thing. Once again, most of these, all of these stories pretty much happened to me in the country, which is why I kind of hate to say it, but I hate the country.
Right.
Since then, it's like everything that's ever happened to me has to do with the country. But I would say maybe like a couple years after that incident, maybe I was about 15, 16 years old. I was visiting another cousin in the country. All of this was based in New Jersey, mind you. That's where I'm from Atlantic City. One night me and a buddy named Rob. He told me he played the drums. He was a drummer for a church, and he told me that there was like some kind of event going on at this church, and he was real good with the drums. He was like, "Yo, bro, why don't you come visit me, and see how good I play the drums and stuff?" And I'm like, "Really, drums, bro?" I'm a basketball player, like I'm a sports kind of guy. But this guy was like, I hate to say it like this, but he was like kind of like one of my more dorky friends, kind of.
Right.
Like he was like real like mainstream kind of guy, real laid back, and so that was like a big thing for him. Like he was a country guy and I was a city guy, so like it was like kind of like that winding down type of friend, like from all the high strung stuff I was doing, and it was like a breath of fresh air, honestly, when I was hanging out with him. So he was like, yeah, I'm playing the drums, at the church tonight. Why don't you come check it out? And he threw a little sweetener on the deal. He was like, forgive me saying this, but he was like, yo, there's two really pretty twins that are like preachers. They're like, I'm like, really? They're preachers? He's like, yeah, bro, like they travel all over, the United States, and, they go to different churches and they speak to youth, like troubled youth and stuff, and like topics that the younger generation would like to hear about and stuff. And he was like, "Yo, if you come, you might have a chance of one of them or whatever." And I'm laughing in my head, but I'm like, he got me.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'll come. And so, mind you, this church was on this long. When I say the street, it never ended. And there was only like 2 street lights on this street. One at the church, and the other one was like almost, it's so long. It was maybe like a quarter mile, maybe a little further down the street was the next street light. That's how far the distance was. And there were only like 1 or 2 houses on the street in between that distance. This one particular street. And it was so weird, man. This church was like almost in the middle of nowhere. So I didn't even want to go. What happened? If I would have realized that I got there in the daytime and nothing really seemed as bad, but I wanted to leave. By the time I actually went outside, and I had thought about like leaving. before, the event started and he started playing drums. It was just getting dark. I actually went out to the street and I looked down and I said, oh, hell, I'm sorry, I mean curse. I meant, oh, heck no. I was looking down at the street and it was so far before the next street light, and I realized I didn't have no car, no bike, or nothing. I was depending on, his family member, who had brought us there, to bring us home. So I'm like, I'm pretty much stuck here now. What if I want to leave? Oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? So anyway, I went back inside the church, and I'm like, yeah, you got me, bro. That wasn't cool, man. I was like, now I'm stuck here. He's like, oh, it's not so bad, man. They'll be here in a little bit. Just relax. And I'm like, man, not really now, man, because I'm having second thoughts. I kind of want to leave now. He's like, you should never leave the church, for your own selfish reasons. And I'm like, you shouldn't have came for a selfish reason. I know I kind of coached you into coming, but still, everything is like for the wrong reason. And like, it's really not a good idea for you to be acting like you're acting right now. I'm like, I don't care, man. I kind of want to get out of here now. And he's like, bro, I'm telling you, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't leave. And so, I was like, all right, whatever. So I sat down, and two preachers came, and they were pretty, and they started preaching and stuff. And next thing you know, like, he's back there playing the drums in between, like, little breaks and stuff. And all of a sudden, it seemed like, I don't know, have you ever been to church before?
Yeah.
Okay, and have you ever noticed, have you ever had that feeling that, whatever the pastor is talking about seems like he's talking directly to you or about you? I don't know, but this happened to me a few times throughout my life. Well, anyway, they were talking, and then, like, it seemed like they kept looking at me, and it was, like, freaking me out. At first, I was like, it was kind of cool, because I'm like, man, maybe one of them might be interested in me. But then all of a sudden, it, like, just went back. Everything went upside down, man. It was like, they were, like, saying, like, yeah, young guys out here these days, lusting after women, and, you're doing things for all the wrong reasons. You out here doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. And I'm like, all right, this is not cool no more. Like, I could tell they're, like, being funny. They're looking at me, and they're talking about things that, could possibly be going on in my life. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was starting to aggravate me, because I was going to feel like they were, like, trying to be smart, and they were talking about me and to me. So that's when I was just like, I was giving him that sign with, like, the cutoff sign, like, I'm out of here. And he was, like, shaking his head, like, no, don't leave. And I was just like, like, screw you, I'm out of here, bro. So, like, and I just, like, shoot him off, and I'm like, I'm out. So I got up, and I remember right before I walked out the door, one of the preachers were like, you guys, when you feel like when things are not going your way, you run away from things, you should never run away. Like, she's basically saying I shouldn't be getting up, leaving out the church. I'm like, Are you kidding me? So I'm walking towards the door, and once I get outside, I'm like, I don't care how far this is. I'm going to walk down the street and get to my cousin's house, and then I'm going back to Atlantic City, and I will never come back to this little town again. So I'm looking down the street. I'm like, all right, wait a minute. I didn't think this out. Maybe I'm not walking down this long, dark street. It is way too far. And it was like a straight street. Like, I could see the street light all the way down there. It was so far away. And I'm like, oh, this can't be that bad. Come on, get your courage together. Get it together. You can do this. And I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm not walking. It's too far. It's too dark. And I'm hearing, like, all of these weird noises, like, in the woods right there. Like, so I start walking back towards the church. And next thing you know, I looked on the side. I said, oh, wait a minute. There's a bike there. So I was like, you know what? I'll just borrow the bike. I'll leave it at my cousin's crib, and I'll call him the next day and tell him, yo, I know it was wrong, but it was the heat of the moment. I borrowed a bike, and, I left it at my cousin's house. Whoever's bike it is, they can come pick it up. I'm pretty sure they didn't plan on riding it that late anyway. So I grabbed the bike. It was a little BMX, and I'm jumping on the bike, and I got out to the street, and I'm like, I'm just going to do this. So I started riding, and I was hearing all these, like, crickets and frogs and everything, just all these like twigs and stuff cracking and snapping in the woods. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why does it feel like something's like in the woods, like moving parallel with me? So I'm just like, I started like singing loud, talking loud to myself, just anything to drown out the noise. And like I was singing and I just kept going. I just tried to keep myself, busy, and keep my mind off of how afraid, and I was so scared. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. Why did I leave that church? Why didn't I just wait till it was over with and then I got a ride to my cousin's house and I could be in the safety of a home? It was so dumb. So I'm riding. And every like 20 or 30 feet, there's a pole. It's, where like it was a pole that looked like a street light should be on it, but it wasn't. It was just a power line, rather. There you go. The power line poles. And, every 30 or so feet, there was a power line pole. And so, mind you, I'm like coasting. I wasn't riding fast because I was afraid. I was like, if I start riding too fast, something might just come out, a dog or something, run out the woods and start chasing me or whatever. That'd be my luck, and I'll fall off the bike and get hurt because I'd be so scared. So I could hear everything, Shannon. Oh, my gosh, I was so scared. Next thing you know, I'm looking like maybe about a good 50 feet ahead of me, and I was like, I seen like a dark mass, and it was pitch black out there. I couldn't barely see anything, and it was only a quarter moon, so it wasn't like that full moon where you could see like everything's pretty lit,
right.
But it's dark. So yeah, I barely could see anything. So, but all I seen was this black furry mass that was darker than the night. Oh my gosh, I was so scared. And it's like, if I turn around, it's going to chase me. If I start riding fast, it's going to chase me. What do I do? By the time I was like deciding what I actually finally really wanted to do, it was too late. I was almost like 15 feet away from it. And I'm looking at it, and it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, please, I'm so sorry. I should have never left the church. I won't ever do that again. I know I came for all the wrong reasons, and I'm just like praying in my mind, like, whatever this thing is, just please, just give me another chance. I won't do anything super like this no more. And sure enough, it's almost like I can almost see this thing as good as I can see at night. And it was just a giant, I thought it was a bear. I really did. I was like, oh, this is a bear. I'm about to die. This is a bear. Because there's no way that could be anything else that big, and I'm looking at it. Now I'm like almost parallel to where it is, maybe like some feet away, and it just seems like time's slowing down, and I can only like barely, I don't even think I even heard anything anymore. And I'm just like looking at it, like out the corner of my eye. I didn't look directly at it. I was just like still singing, but I was so scared. And next thing you know, oh my gosh, it was, I don't know if it was sleep. I don't know if it was like, whatever it was crouched down. I think it wasn't sitting. It was like crouched down. Like, you ever like get real tired and I don't know if you ever jog or you ever play sports, you get down on one knee and you take a breath. Yeah, one of those deals. It looked like it was doing that. And just as I was almost parallel to it, oh my gosh, Shannon, the thing stands up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This thing is standing up on 2 feet. What the hell is it? I was so scared. I mean, probably just as scared as I was that time, but it was a longer fear because the danger was still there. So I'm looking at it, and all I could see was just how massive this thing was. I was just like looking at the outline of it, and it was like gigantic, like muscular, gigantic. And I just remember seeing the black fur. It was like black and hairy, and trying to describe, I would say about every bit of between 7 and 8 feet tall. Easy. Now, mind you, like I said, I'm 6'4", so I was like standing up on a bike riding. So that would be at about 6.5 feet. It would put me at about maybe like 6'8", maybe. So that's how I knew this thing was every bit of 7 feet or bigger, and I'm coasting, and now I'm almost, like I said, I'm like pretty much parallel with it, and I'm riding so slow because I'm so scared. I was debating, should I jump off the bike and just start swinging it for my life or just continue on. So I just continued on, and next thing you know, oh my gosh, this is when like literally I kind of wanted to die. That's how scared I was. The eyes opened up, and when I saw the eyes, oh gosh, Shannon, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
Never in my life, never, literally, the eyes were glowing lime green, like fluorescent yellowish green color. I just couldn't, the eyes were like, it looked like headlights. They were glowing, but they were like okay, you ever seen pictures of panther? Or, yeah, like how those panthers or jaguars, how they like that black, dark, pretty fur, and then those eyes, you can never forget those eyes. Those eyes are always, just like a feature that stands out. The eyes and how massive this stood in the eye. He followed me, not walking. Like his head, as I was like coasting by him, because I didn't even take a pedal no more. That's how scared I was. He just followed me with his head, and I want to believe. Oh, this is so weird, man. This is really weird. I want to believe that it knew what I was thinking, or like, oh man, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
I'm trying.
I know it's hard to explain.
This is still scaring me. Like right now, I can explain this to you. Like it was like thinking. Like I felt like it was connected to me. Like it knew exactly what I was thinking, and it was like almost responding. Like, okay, like I could get you. Like I could do. You're at my mercy right now. That's kind of like what I felt like it was telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna give you a pass this time. Like I'll let you go. Because I guess you're acknowledging that you're my presence and you're at my mercy, kind of like thing.
Right.
And like I guess it was like it was feeding off of the fear, maybe. That's so weird, man. But that's the feeling that I got. It was like almost like it was telepathically talking to me. Like it was telling me those things. That was the feeling I got.
So somehow, even though you're still very, very close to it, you knew, even though you're terrified, like you said, you were so scared, you're like, go ahead and kill me because I'm just so terrified. But you knew it wasn't going to attack you somehow.
Well, my fear didn't know that. It was telling me that telepathic. But my fear, like, oh man, okay, yeah, it's like I said, it seemed like it was telling me that it wasn't going to kill me, and it seemed really old. I don't know how I was getting those feelings, but I'm telling you, if I was a betting man, I would really say that it was talking to me, like obviously not traditionally, like with words, but in my mind, I was like, it was like saying these things to me, but I didn't care because I was still that afraid. Like at any second, as I like almost got by it now, it was like almost behind me. I was like, I felt the breath on the back of my neck. Like I was like any second, this thing was that big. Like if it wanted, it could just snatch me off the bike within seconds, and there would have been nothing to do. Literally, I don't even think I would have been able to get one swing of that BMX before it just probably destroyed me. So I just kept riding, and just even though seemed like it was telling me that it wasn't going to kill me, I just kept riding, and I was just praying and praying. I was almost in tears. That's how afraid I was.
Did you look back at it once you got past?
No, I couldn't. I was too scared. I couldn't. I didn't even want to. I was just like, I wanted the vision to be over.
I bet you started to
And
pedal again, huh?
Yeah, of course I did. Not
Yeah.
fast, because I don't know if you ever had, like, it always seems like when you start trying to, like, flee from something, it wants to chase you after that.
Oh, yeah.
So
It gets in that
I
predator
just kept
mode.
it, right, I just kept it even pedal, you know what I mean? Never, like, started flying, but as soon as I got to that corner where the street light was, that's when I flew. As soon as I hit that corner, I just took off. And when I finally got to my cousin's driveway, I jumped off the bike and it kept going down the street. And I ran to the door and I just like, let me in. And, you know, I went in the house. And like I said, that bike kept coasting down the street. I didn't even care. I was just like, I'm going in the house, I'm locking the door. And as soon as daylight comes and I'm able to get out of here, I'm never coming back to this town again.
Did you tell your family when you got in?
Yeah. I told
What did
them.
they say?
I told everybody in the house, but there was only 2 people awake. It was my cousin and my uncle. And I told them, they kind of, my cousin, he laughed at me, and my uncle, he just was like, oh yeah, that's nice. Like, kind of weird, like almost like shrugging it off, like never. Because he was a heavy drinker. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't even think he was, you know, in the frame of mind to actually sit there and take it all in.
He probably doesn't even
It was just
remember
like
you told him that then.
Right. You know, well, my cousin, he laughed and like, yeah, whatever, you playing with me. You know, and I didn't really get deep into it. I just, after I told him, I didn't just keep going on about it. I was just afraid of my own little world, and that was just it.
What other details do you remember about the creature? Did you get to see his hands or paws or claws or anything?
Not so much. I just remember the fur, how tall it was, and the top of his head.
Did it make any sound at
and
you?
And the eyes. No.
No
Not
growling?
really. It was just like, all I remember is the breathing. That was it. The breathing was loud. Pretty loud. You know, like, it was loud. I almost where I could, like, kind of like, I could hear it for sure. But, you know, like, it was, I don't know. I just, all I know, I just remember I could just hear the breathing. You know, it's a shame, you know, there wasn't much more I could make out. I'm just telling you exactly what I remember and how it happened.
I appreciate you just being honest and saying you don't remember something if you don't. So as far as the eyes go, now there was no way that could have been eye shine. You really feel like they were glowing from the inside?
No, 100%. Literally. I don't know if you ever seen like it's a popular movie, but The Predator. Okay, well, if you ever seen the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger and those lime green glowing eyes, exactly like that.
Wow.
Literally, like those.
And even though they were glowing, it wasn't like it was just a big green glowing blob. Like, could you still see a pupil and whatnot in there? Like detail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. It was, you know, but like, it was crazy because those eyes, like, there was no light. Literally, there was no light around. That's why it was so freaky. Those eyes, there was no light. Oh yeah, so, you know, as I was brightening up, that's why I thought it was maybe like resting or something, because obviously the eyes were closed.
Right.
Because I didn't see them at all. And then all of a sudden, I just remember seeing the eyes opening up as I was coming up on it. Oh, look at this. Here goes a person right here. You know what I mean? Like,
that is interesting, though. Like, why did it wait so long to A, stand up, and B, open its eyes? Because you know it heard you coming the second you probably left the church, right?
Yeah, of course. And, well, I was singing, so I know it heard me.
Yeah.
I know it heard me a long ways. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. It was like, it was like telling me something. Like, oh, man, it was crazy. It wasn't like it was, like, aggressive. It was just letting me know, okay, I know you're here, and you know I can destroy you if I want to, but I'm not going to bother you. It was like, that's what it was telling me.
See, Mike, that's what you get for leaving church early, buddy. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to interject a little humor.
That story.
You did?
No,
okay.
No, seriously.
What did he say?
What I felt. No, he laughed, and that's exactly what he said. Exactly
Okay.
what you said. See,
Yeah,
that's
no,
what you get for leaving. You shouldn't leave something.
Oh my God, no!
You said
I'm just
something
trying
bad
to
would happen to me.
I'm just trying to be an ass. I'm just trying to make you laugh and keep it light because I just I would have needed a diaper if I saw that. To be honest with you, I think.
Shannon, seriously, that was so terrifying. It really was. And this, mind you, the crazy thing is, I never knew what that thing was. I thought it was like a wolf. Like I thought a man literally transformed into a wolf is what I thought it was, because obviously werewolves ain't real, and what else could be standing up looking like a werewolf that big and massive? You know what I mean?
Why did it let you see it? And not only that, it wasn't like it was peeking behind a bush or something. It was just staying in the middle of the damn road.
No. It was on the side of the street, like right by the telephone, right by the wire.
Oh, okay, it was offside a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, it was off to the side of the street. It was like right. Okay, like how there's the woods, and then there's like the little sidewalk area, and then the street again.
Mm-hmm.
That one of those deals, but except it was so closer to the pole in the woods.
But it certainly wasn't trying to hide, was it?
No, not at all. It was like.
Those things are so just cocky. They just don't give a crap. They really don't.
No, seriously.
They are alpha.
100%. That's exactly what I was thinking in my head. Like, man, this thing just doesn't care. Like,
yeah.
I mean, but why would it, Shannon? The thing is, like, so close to 8 feet tall, every bit of 500 to 1,000 pounds, and not only that, it's gigantic. It's like massive, and we're like, well, I mean, at best, average 6 foot and some change, 100 to 200 something pounds. Why would that thing be? It probably laughs at us.
Did you get to see how long its nose or snout was at all?
It was stubby.
Mm.
I kind of did, as best I could in the pitch black. It was like a stubby little snout. It wasn't like, all the way out, out there. Kind of like a dog, kind of.
Did it have the backwards second joint in the lace? Did you notice that?
I couldn't see that. I know they call it, what do they call that? But I couldn't see that. I was so scared. I was like, mostly from like the knees up, I was looking. Just trying to observe.
And once the eyes open and they're glowing, I'm sure that was quite distracting, right?
That was it. Yeah. I couldn't even focus on anything else after that. Once I saw those eyes. Because at the same time, it was like, I know this might sound a little crazy, but it was beautiful. Like, it's like, look at me, you know what I mean? Like, marvel at my presence kind of thing. Man, it was weird. But I'm telling you, like, I felt like it was telepathic. Like, it was like literally explaining to me that it wasn't going to destroy me, but it wanted me to know that it was there and just like kind of like marvel at it or something. I don't know.
Did you have a chance to listen to DDoS when he was on my show? He was in Bipeds. I think I named it Bipeds of the Red River Basin. I don't know the number. I can send you this too as well. But in his Dogman encounter, he was inside of a vehicle with the window down. And he was out there for the purpose of Dogman. And he actually had one that was...
You mean tell me he was looking for that thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See, now Dogman is like kind of... I don't know. I think that's on my no list. I think you've heard me say that before. I'm like, I don't know about that. They're always pissed off.
Oh.
What
do you mean? You on the fence about Dogman, or you?
No. On like my no list, as far as I don't know if I want to see one, because mostly they're just so cocky and pissed off, and they don't give a crap if you crap yourself. And not that a Bigfoot does, but most Bigfoot are very elusive, and they try to avoid us. And the Dogmen are mostly like, here I am. I don't give a crap if everybody sees me. If I'm in the mood, everybody's gonna see me.
Yeah.
So, no, but in DDoS's experience, his was crouched down, and then in the process of standing up, he could hear the joints popping. And I was just like, oh my God. I mean, what a detail, right? It just made my skin crawl to think of that. Now, you were on a bike and you were singing, praying, and I can't blame you. Did you hear anything like that when it stood up?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. And I've been hearing that detail frequently, maybe about 3 times out of all the Dogman stories that I've been listening to lately. Because once I found out about, that, well, yeah. Let me just answer that question again. No, I didn't hear anything of that nature. No popping or nothing.
Yeah.
But I was watching this show, me and my father, and this was about 3 or 4 years ago. It was called like Monsters and Mysteries in America, or something like that. It's on that channel.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, there was this lady. She was like one of those people that ride around the town and they pick up all the dead carcasses and stuff. And she said she was parked on the side of the street listening to music or whatever. Like, maybe she's messing with her cell phone or something. And she felt the back of the truck shake like violently. And when she looked back there, that's when she saw like a Dogman. And the feature, the most prominent thing she saw was the glowing yellow eyes. And when I seen that, I said, "Dad, look." And he said, "Oh my God, son, you wasn't BSing about that thing. It's real." I said, I told you I wasn't lying. I told you. I was like, that's exactly how, it was the traditional way I explained it, how massive it was, 7 to 8 feet tall, the glowing yellowish eyes, the whole shebang. And that's when I was just like, wow, that thing is really real. And I was telling myself that.
And by the way, I don't call them, the term Dogman. But now I officially call them the Woof Man. So, the Woof Man.
Oh, okay.
I'm changing it up. Yeah, it's an inside joke. But anyway, okay. So here's my question for you. Considering what you saw happen to Chris, right? And now you have this encounter. My question to you is, do you think then that Dogman is a flesh and blood creature, or is this just another offshoot of some of this other weird stuff that
I'm glad you asked me that. I believe Dogman is an extraterrestrial nature. I truly believe that thing is from another planet. Well, it goes back to my theory about I believe our world is a zoo planet. I believe all different diversities of life are brought here at some point. It might sound freaky to you, but that if you, I came to that conclusion because, like I said, over time, things that I saw, a lot of things that I've kind of like witnessed and like all of these different theories and philosophies, I believe that this really is a zoo planet. And I believe like things are brought here, like maybe even like things that are wanted in other places and they put it here. I don't know. But
nothing is too crazy a theory for me, so I don't scoff at anything, I can't explain things. So I don't know what I saw when I was a teen, and I have no clue.
I do believe that honestly, this is some kind of zoo planet, and I've like seen like videos where like it would spaceships would be dropping things in the lake. One time I seen that it was dropping some stuff in the lake, and then it went over land and it started dropping things on land, and then poof, it just shoots instantly, starts zipping off back into space.
So what is that? Like, what does that make us as people then? We're part of the zoo planet then, right? We were dropped off here to observe.
Did you ever notice like the way how they treat us when people get abducted? I mean, think about that. That's why I really, let's keep to my theory, because it's like they examine us. You know what I mean? And like they prod us and stuff. It's kind of like how we do animals. Same way.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
I wonder why then if we are part of the zoo planet, why you have to do that to the animals, I guess there's still a hierarchy, but I don't know. No ideas are scoffed at here on Into the Fray. That's for sure. And I like.
Oh, okay.
I like that term. I might actually title the episode that. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, it's really, and I've, just recently, there was this incident that these guys were talking about that Dogman had abducted. Well, no, I'm sorry, they had some guys in the woods, and one of them had a rapier and body armor, and it cut a guy in half. And there was like 2 or 3 of them standing around, and they had a guy on his knees, and they literally, a giant one walked up, pulled a rapier out, the rapier, like that old-fashioned classic sword with the like curved thing type of thing.
Yeah, they're gnarly.
And it literally cut a guy in half, and I was just like, holy crap!
It had body armor on.
Yeah, it had body armor on. Yeah,
well, if that's not straight out of the Predator, right? That's pretty cool, actually. Not for the guy.
Right.
But,
well, that's what it was like on one of those shows, maybe George Norrie or one of those.
Coast to Coast.
Other guys, not George Knapp. Yeah, Coast to Coast.
Really? Oh, it was on George Knapp's show.
I think. I'm
like a call-in. A call-in.
Conflict. Yeah, one of those shows like that. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was George Knapp, but and that's what he was saying, that there were like soldiers. Okay, yeah, it was soldiers, and they were like hunting for Taliban or something like that, and this was like over in Afghanistan or something somewhere, and that's kind of how that incident happened.
See, sometimes there's just no replacing live call-in shows, right? Like, you just never know what kind of stories, if people are like, you know what, screw it, I've never told this story, but I'll call in. I mean, much like we're not doing a live show right now, but, what you're doing tonight, it's a big deal, and I appreciate you doing that, by the way.
Well, this is why, no problem. This is why I wanted to say, because, I think people need to know, Shannon, because honestly, I've hid this for so many years, and I was just like, man, like, what if my story can help somebody out there, or like, help them get through, a troubled time with being able to cope with this. I mean, excuse me, not that it's easy, but, I guess as best they can, because I know all these years, I thought I was either crazy, maybe I didn't see what I thought I saw. Because, it was like my body's like, my mind, safety mechanism, like trying to help me to deal with it, the whole situation. But honestly, when I started hearing about different stories, it helped me. It really did. Because I was like, man, I'm not as crazy as I thought I was.
So I think I know the answer to this, but would you ever want to see a Dogman again?
No, I'm sorry. As intriguing as that was, no, I wouldn't. It was, and mind you, I'm like nature as much as I don't like to interact with it personally. I like TV and stuff, but yeah, I don't think I can handle that.
So Mike stays in the cities for the most part now, right?
Right. I mean, mind you, I'm Philadelphia, the heart of Philadelphia right now. So yeah, I love the city, and so many weird things have happened in the country. It's not even funny. And check this out. This is cool and crazy at the same time. You remember what the thing Pam, how all used to be able to see all those little creatures and stuff, and like, well, all of that kind of stuff was happening to me at one point, and it got so crazy where I actually prayed. Believe it or not, I prayed. And I said, God, please, this is too much. I don't, whatever this is going on, I don't know if it's a gift or not. But, that's what my grandparents and my mom said it was a gift. And I was like, man, the heck with this. I don't like this gift. I don't want this gift anymore. Take it away from me.
Take it back.
Please. And Shannon, seriously, it seemed like by the time that year was over, not everything went away, but, all the heavy stuff, it stopped.
Really?
Stop. Yep. And well, I
So
mean,
that's kind of
thank
a
God.
whole nother subject then, right? The
Yeah.
power of air and where that might go and what
I'm a
sort
strong
of
believer in God
tendrils,
now.
yeah, what tendrils that bleeds into other things, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, like something really crazy happened to me a few years ago.
So this is your
sort of
third story?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I kind of. I'm sorry. So much stuff has happened to me,
That's
Shannon.
okay.
It's not even funny. I kind of like, veered off subject. But no, their story is that's definitely more interesting. Same, same around the same time, same area. My grandparents' house again. I'm around the same age. It was Halloween. I had stayed out there for a year to go to school. It was a basketball opportunity, and I wanted to play for this team. Well, not so much wanted to play for the team, but a couple of my buddies out there they kind of convinced me to stay a year and to see if I liked it. You know what I mean? If I didn't like it, obviously I was going to go back to the city anyway, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. They convinced me. I stayed, and I will never forget this like it happened yesterday. This one is way more vivid. It was just get ready to get dark. About, I'd say about like almost 5, something like that. And I said, Grandma, I'm gonna go run next door to Ruthie's and see what costume my little cousin had. Because I had a little cousin who was a lot younger than my other 2 cousins that I had mentioned. And she was like, no, you don't. You just want to go over there and get Halloween candy, which is true. That's really what I was going to do. She had a knack of knowing me just like a book. She was just going to go over there and try to get Halloween candy early and get the good stuff before all the kids. And I was like, no, Grandma, I'm serious. I just want to go, whatever. So anyway, I ended up sneaking outside, and bam, I flew over there. And in the country, it really is true. Mostly country people don't lock their doors much. I can remember my aunt's doors never being locked, ever. I mean, almost never. Like, so I went, and I was like, hello? I was like, I didn't see none of my family members' cars out in front. So I'm like, oh, great. No cars is there, and I know they already have Halloween candy set up. So I was like, oh, I'm going to run this to them, get all the good Snickers bars and Reese cups and stuff. But as soon as I opened the door and I said hello, not loud, maybe a couple times, like, hello, anybody here? In other words, like, yeah, I asked y'all was out here. You didn't say nothing, so I just helped myself to some candy. So, mind you, there was a banister in front. Like, as soon as you walk in the door,
Mm-hmm.
you have to walk maybe like 2 or 3 feet up, and then you go right. And then you go around this big banister, and then you're the basic part of the living room. So this banister is not see-through. It's about maybe like 6.5 feet high. At that time, I was probably about maybe like 5'8", maybe. So I was like, I'm not going to walk all the way into the house because I got a feeling one of my uncles or they're in there, and they're probably going to scare the heck out of me for just walking in the house and trying to steal Halloween candy. So I'm not going to rush into it. I had the presence of mind of not doing that, and thank God that I didn't do it. As I was peeking around the banister, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you. Do you prefer Miss Legro or Shannon?
Oh, whatever you like. Shannon's
I
fine.
apologize.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to be disrespectful. Too late for that, right?
No, you're doing awesome.
All right.
You're doing great.
Okay, so I'm peeking around the banister, and oh my gosh, this is so freaky. Shannon, out of the kitchen comes, oh gosh, this is so weird. I almost don't even want to tell you this. I just kind of want to stop right now, but so stupid, man. There was a witch. I'm talking about full-on, hardcore, like, witch comes with ugly, grotesque, almost kind of like picture perfect witch that you see in all the movies and stuff. She had raggedy clothes on. I smelled like this weird, nasty, like not taking a bath in 2 years smell. Oh my gosh, Shannon, it was so creepy. She had like a nasty looking, crooked, like pointy nose. Her nails were long and dark, like they weren't black, but they were like dark. They were dirty. I remember every detail of this witch. This was so crazy. And I'm looking at her. She looked sick, like she was dying. She was like probably about 6 feet tall, maybe even taller than that. And she had like nasty long fingers. I remember those hands. Her fingers were so long, and they were like, where the joints were, they looked like a person that was like 110 years old. Like literally, she looked so old and really, really skinny. Like she looked like she was maybe like 90 pounds. So, and she like kind of like was hunched over, and she was like searching through the house, through the living room, like. And oh my gosh, I wanted to turn around and haul behind out of the house. So I wanted to run so fast, but I was so scared. I was like, if she, in that instance of me trying to run out and grab the door, maybe she'll put a spell on me and paralyze me, or stop me from running or something, or like turn me into something. Like, so I'm not gonna run. I was so scared. I wanted to run so bad, but I was like, and the door was right behind me, but I was like, I know it. She'll turn around and she'll be able to freeze me, and I won't be able to move. So I'm just going to just pray that she doesn't come over to the door. And she slipped through, like, the candy dish. It was just like she was looking for something. And I'm watching her the whole time. Something told me, just observe her a little more. Staring at her, and I'm watching her, seeing what she's doing. And she goes over like, and this is what I was trying to tell you about when I told you I was able to see things. I believe that nobody else would have been able to see that. I just had that feeling. I was almost positive that only I would have been able to see this witch. And she's like rummaging through stuff. She opened like this little chest that my aunt had on the desk, and she was like looking for something. I remember her teeth were disgusting. They were like sharp, kinda. Like almost like needle, kind of like. She was like grayish, like her skin was like almost grayish, pale, real disgusting. Bumps, or like weird looking bumps on her face, and she had this weird looking, like she had scraggly hair, like it was falling out, like she had cancer or something, you know. No disrespect to people, obviously. I remember she had like kind of like a dirty old dingy hat, like it was like hanging over to the side, but like a traditional witch hat with the big brim, kinda.
Wow.
And I know what you're thinking, like, well, how do you know it wasn't one of your family members? Now, this is what, and everybody that I've actually told this story, mostly family members, like it was kind of like a novelty story, but it was true. You know, and all of a sudden something said, man, this lady is so tall. How is a lady? That's rare for a lady to be tall. I looked down, Shannon. I didn't see no feet.
Oh.
There was no feet. She was hovering off the floor about 2 to 3 feet off the ground.
Oh my God.
She was hovering the whole time. Something told me to look down, and I did. And then I realized she was literally hovering off the floor. I'm sorry, that was too high. About maybe like 1.5 feet off the ground. Literally. That's why I didn't hear any noise when she was moving around.
So she still
like,
hasn't
oh
noticed
God.
you at this point. She doesn't know you're there.
She didn't notice me at all. The whole time. I'm like literally peeking around the corner, like literally ready to pee on myself. And like praying that she doesn't come like towards my direction. The whole time she stayed facing the other way, you know? Thank God she didn't like turn and look towards the door, because if she did, more than likely I probably would have been so scared I wouldn't have been able to move, and I would have been frozen anyway, even if she didn't freeze me. And then she would have probably came over to me, and then that's when I probably would have just
Oh, you'd have lost your
screamed
mind.
my head off.
But
Literally.
we might have already lost your mind just seeing that. Okay, so I'm trying to picture how the house is set up. So you're peeking around the banister. Is there like a hallway and then the kitchen? Like the opening to the kitchen?
Yeah, there is.
And she's just hovering around in there, just peeking in and doing her thing.
Yep.
Is she making noise when she's doing this? Like you can hear her
no,
rummaging?
No, she wasn't. And she just hear her rummaging. That was it. No, no noises.
Probably good, right?
Right.
You don't want any calls or groans or grunts or anything.
No. Nope. She was completely quiet, other than her rummaging through like the desk, and she was opening drawers over by the desk. She opened a little jewelry chest kind of thing.
She was looking for.
That's a very good question, because she went through the candy dish. She didn't grab anything, but she went through it, like moved some of the candy around.
See, kids, candy is bad. That'll prove it right damn there. Okay.
And
sorry, no. Go ahead. No, finish your description.
No,
here.
I was just gonna say, I don't have really a clue what she was looking for. It was just like she was, just I guess seeing she could look for what she might find. And if it was something that interested her, maybe she would have grabbed it.
Did she have like I don't know, a bag on to collect things, or she was just there, just rummaging?
I didn't notice a bag. No.
I mean, not that witches traditionally carry bags. You know what I mean? If she was like there collecting something, I don't. So Mike, this is in fact house that is Chris's house, right? Or was Chris's house?
Yep, Chris's grandmother's house.
So are we thinking...
Which is my aunt.
Right. That this is also part of the weird, pardon my French, weird shit in the bush?
I have no clue, but I mean, man, you got to think, though.
I know.
Wild stuff went on over there in that area, and that was like just a couple instances.
Dude, you got to stop over there, right?
Yeah, seriously, man. Like, Shannon, it's a lot of stuff. It was almost like, how do you say, like, that area was like, I don't know if you ever, this is the perfect example. You got to check this story out if you haven't yet. George Knapp's story about the I can't believe my mind went blank. His story about the ranch,
the Skinwalker Ranch, yeah.
Skinwalker
had all the different the whole amalgamation of
Yes, I mean that is the most intriguing story ever. I mean, that's in my top 3 right there.
I agree. Skinwalker Ranch is completely fascinating.
Okay, so that is almost the equivalent of the things that went on over there in that general country area. From that town, and there's another town not too far from there, like where stuff the town. There you go, the town that happened where the wolf thing.
The Jersey Devil?
No, the wolf thing. Stories about that too, but Dogman, I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Maybe when we're off our call, we'll be talking anyway, of course. We'll keep talking, but maybe, because it's not going to be shared for everybody, but maybe if you're comfortable enough to share with me exactly where this happened, I would love to look around and see what else I could find. I mean, have you done that? Have you looked around to see if anyone else has seen...
Well, I actually would like to be able to speak freely. It would make it so much better,
Sure.
Because then I won't be so nervous. Because you got to know, I'm trying to keep from, divulging too much information and saying the wrong thing and somebody's name. It's kind of hard to, focus and tell you all this stuff and then, be careful saying that too.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, we're going to do that after we end the call. So don't worry. I'm not going to... That way you won't worry that, oh my God, is she going to leave that in? Because I mean, I wouldn't, but that way you know.
Right.
Okay, so let's finish the story of the witch in the kitchen. You're still watching her, right? And I'm sorry, I took you off track, and I apologize. Let's finish that tale.
No, it's no problem. That's cool. Okay, so she has her back towards me the whole time. And I'm praying at the same time while I'm watching her, please don't turn around and notice me and kill me. So she's like rummaging through the stuff, and then she goes. It's almost like she's getting ready to go to another opening to the right side of the house. There was like another room where my aunt and my other aunt, my brother, they sew, and they used to sew in this one room on the right in particular, and that's where they like knitted and stuff. And she was going to walk in there, and I'm glad that she didn't, because if she did, it would have meant she would have had to turn around and come back, and then that would have meant she would have been facing me.
Mm-hmm.
So she looked in there, and I was praying. I was like, please don't go for it. Please don't go for it. She didn't. She turned back. She went back to the left where she came from. And as soon as she hit that corner and she went out of sight, and she was floated right back into the kitchen, man, I turned around and I hauled tail out of there.
So she mostly had her back to you, but at one point, obviously, you had profile shot or something because you could see her teeth, right? And her nose.
Yeah, I seen a side shot. Right. And she was like going, across towards the right.
Was it worse for you that you were like, oh, I need to look at her feet, and then you realized that she was hovering, or was it already just so messed up that was just another thing in the list?
Yeah, it was freaky that when I looked down and noticed, I was like, no feet. Oh my God. It was rags down there. I just remember looking at rags, and then I didn't see anything under the rags. Like there was like a portion where there was like, you could see straight to the other side under her, under her, her dress.
So, how you brought up in the beginning how your grandmother said that your mother could kind of see certain things too. I wonder, and this is just complete conjecture, but I wonder if your mom had been standing there right next to you, would she have seen a witch, or would she have seen something else?
Very good question again. I'm pretty sure. I think she would have saw the witch too. I mean, it was. That's just my theory, but I would be willing to bet that she would have been able to see a witch too.
No, it's a good theory because there's so much detail. I mean, you got the raggedy clothes and the nails, and like I imagine, like when people get older and they get the rheumatoid arthritis and the joints will swell up, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of pictured there.
What it looked like.
So much detail that you're giving me with this. So Okay, so the next question is, you leave the house. You're still staying at your grandma's right now because you're doing this whole basketball thing. You're going to school there. Do you ever go back over to their house? Do you mention this to anybody?
Oh, yeah, every day. Yeah, of course I did. Matter of fact, as soon as I waited, now mind you, it's Pittsburgh house, maybe like 2 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
I looked outside. I seen my family members' cars were there now. So I ran back over there because now I'm not scared because I know they're all there. So I run back in the house, and I'm like, Aunt Ruthie, such and such and such, is anybody here? And they're like, yeah, we're back here. So I go back in there, and I was like, wait a minute, I can't tell them. That means they'll know I was in the house when nobody was there, and I was like trying to steal candy. So I was just like, hey, have you guys been here all day? I had knocked on the door earlier, and she's like, oh no, we've been out. We had to grab some more stuff, for Halloween and some more decorations and stuff. I'm like, so you wasn't here at all day? No, we've been going all day. Sure, nobody, none of the cousins, nobody. No, why? Why you keep asking that? I was like, oh, no reason. I was just wondering. Oh, okay,
You poor guy. You're like, oh, no reason at all. Didn't see a thing.
Right.
No, wasn't even in here at all. Mm-mm.
Right.
Did you like walk into the kitchen to see if, something that you noticed her doing? And I realized that your family had already been there maybe to, touch things.
Oh, yeah, I was looking around.
Yeah. Was there any evidence of, what you had seen?
No, not at all. I was checking it. And funny you said that because that's exactly what I did. I was checking everywhere that I seen her go. And I was like looking around, maybe fingerprint, trying to play like a little, as a kid, my mind would run wild. So I was like almost thinking I was Sherlock Holmes, like trying to be a little detective and stuff. Yeah, I didn't find nothing. I didn't see anything. I just always wondered, what was she looking for? Maybe was she even looking at anything at all? Maybe she was like just looking to see if there was something that she might want to grab, if it was, something that piqued her interest.
Here's something interesting that you make a good point about, and people in Seattle, back when I lived there, did this as well. And this was actually in like Seattle, not the outskirts and the boondocks, but people wouldn't lock their doors. So my question to you is, could she have gotten in if the doors were locked? You know what I mean? Like one of those things where like you have to invite something or give it a pass. And was the pass, yes, the doors were unlocked, or does she just go through the wall?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, the way this like lady looked like, I would assume that she came through the wall. She didn't come through the door.
Yeah. I mean, considering that she's floating, right? She's hovering.
Right. And that's, man, you always hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, well, if she was floating, that's more than likely she came through the wall.
I mean, it's kind of one of the things where you're like, well, you have a hovering witch. Does she use a door or does she just go through the damn wall? I don't know.
Right.
It's because some people believe certain things you have to invite them in a way. Like if you use a Ouija board, okay, well, you're inviting something in. You're giving it permission. Exactly.
Right.
So,
at the door, and then the only way they can come in is if you say,
exactly. You give it a pass. So what do you think, what in the world, Mike, is going on either in that whole town area, quote unquote, or on that land? I mean, what do you think's going on?
Without telling you too much right now, I know a few things, and
and don't get into it too far without if we're gonna divulge locations.
I would just say that there's like a big round type of thing going on there.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Which it happens a lot in a lot of places in the United States, and you can kind of point the finger at such things, and who knows actually what the deal is. But I know that in some of my other interviews, some people did some investigations into the land, and they are in fact going, oh yeah, this is like there was a war here and people died here, or there was a burial ground, or somebody did satanic rituals or whatever it was. So I always try to ask that question because I just think it's interesting. So yeah, okay, cool. Well, yeah, you and I will be talking more about stuff like that, but I was wondering if there was any tie-ins there. So yeah, so those are 3 terrifying stories, encounters, not stories. I know they're extremely real and happen to you. So, I mean, how has this affected you? How has this changed you as far as honestly, your everyday?
Well, it was embarrassing at the time, but I'm still kind of scared of the dark, believe it or not. I'm pretty old now, so yeah, and I'm still very much scared of the dark. I don't like walking even through my house. I have to turn lights on in each room, and it's embarrassing, but it's the truth.
That's embarrassing at all. I don't think that's silly.
And I hate it. That would be nice if I could just like man up and just go about my day, but I can't. Almost ever. Yeah,
but see, Mike, the thing is, most men won't admit that they've seen things, even if they have. Right. So you're a man because you are admitting, you know what, here's the shit that I've seen, and take it or leave it, there it is. I mean, it's the same thing in my story. I'm like, no one has to believe me. I'm just telling you that's what I saw.
Right. And that's exactly where I'm at with this. Like, I've told a few people, and I'm like, man, I really don't care if you believe me or not.
Right.
It is what it is. Take it or leave it.
Have you ever seen that movie, to lighten the mood a little, have you ever seen that movie Couples Retreat with Vince Vaughn and Jason Bateman?
Honestly, I'm really not into comedy only because my life has been so serious. Although I've had seen a few comedies, but yeah, things is just so serious for me in my life, Shannon. Like, I've grown away from the fairy tale thing so long ago, and it's sad because I would like to be a lot more light at heart, but I can't, and I've tried.
All right, so, I know what I forgot to ask. So, I know you said it was a couple of years after, and what you meant by that was after the Dogman sighting, right?
Well, depending on what you pertain to.
So the witch, was this after the Dogman sighting?
No, I'm sorry. That was before Dogman. So I'm sorry if I confused you.
Oh no, that's okay.
That.
No, okay.
Yeah.
That makes even more sense. Okay,
yeah,
so
this was around the time where the other incident.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
portal thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, that makes me really wonder then if are these things from the same place? Are they tied in? Are they? I don't know.
Right. I thought about that. Another theory that I've come up with is like there's like a parallel universe, an alternate, dimension type thing. These are like interdimensional entities at times. Not all of them, but some of them I believe like are here on this plane. They just are like behind the veil. And then there's other ones that are interdimensional. Like the portal thing, I think is interdimensional. The witch thing, I believe, like that's, behind the veil, right outside of our vision, kind of. Same thing, Wolfman, Dogman, whatever. Even though you can't see it, I still believe that that's like behind the veil, because if that's the case, I think as real as I know Dogman is, you don't see it all the time, every day. And I know there has to be a lot of them. I don't believe they're just isolated here and there. I think they're everywhere.
But
why?
Sorry to interrupt you, but do you think that just anybody can see a Dogman, or do you think that, like your grandmother said, those of you that have the eye of discernment can only really see these if they choose to let you?
I think everybody can see Dogman. I just think you just have to be in the right place at the right time.
Or the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Depending on how you want to look at that.
Right.
Also, depending on how you look at things and the timing of things, all of this happened, before you were, 16 and under. Yeah.
Right.
So
before I was a man.
how have things been going since these incidents? Do you still, I know the fear can still be there and the anxiety, but have you had any experiences?
Yes, a few. And mostly one in particular, it happens quite often.
And only if you're okay to share it. I wasn't, because you told me there was 3 things. You got those out. I was just, it's okay if you don't want to say it. I just was trying to see if, if they stopped completely or not. So.
Right. Well, no. I've been going through this thing where sleep paralysis type thing.
Uh-huh.
Sort of / abduction type deal.
Oh.
But granted, I've never went to actually have hypnotic regression to see if I've been getting abducted, because honestly, I don't even want to know.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that before, and I don't blame you.
It would terrify me.
Right?
I mean, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I would be able to continue on living with myself if I found out.
What kind of things are like classic abduction stuff? I mean, like Travis Walton, on the ship kind of thing?
Sort of. Yeah, I hope not. I mean, honestly, I hope that's not what's going on, because I'm just going to tell you and be real with you about this. Basically, there's been times where I've been asleep and I know for a fact that there was something there, but I was that scared. This is embarrassing. It makes you really feel like I'm not even a man when I say things like that. It is what it is. I've felt like, I know there was something there, but I was too scared to open my eyes. And that's really embarrassing, but it's the truth.
There's no shame in that. I would hope that at some point everybody has some kind of an experience where they're terrified, because I don't know. I've really, been there. I've been there. How often does it happen?
Gosh, there's something.
You hear something, or you get a sense that there's something in the room?
Yeah, no, hear and could feel it,
Yeah.
And then there's times where literally, if I just know if I was to open my eyes, then whatever it was would be right there. And then there's those incidents where I'll be asleep and then I go to try to get up and wake up, and I can't. Now, there's times where like I actually wake up but still can't move, where like I'm coherent now. Like I'm not. It's not not a lot, but there's occasionally.
No, I'm not saying that this is all sleep paralysis, or I'm not trying to classify or diminish anything that you're saying. I've heard on another podcast, it was either Beyond the Darkness or maybe Clyde Lewis.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, with Dave Schrader, Beyond the Darkness.
I like Dave Schrader.
Yeah, Dave's awesome. Somebody said that, and I know because I don't have this, I'm just throwing this out there and to see if you've heard of this, but they said that when they get their sleep paralysis, something that they do is they focus on like moving a foot or like a toe or something, and this.
Wow!
Yeah, and if they can focus on it enough and actually start to move it, it will break the paralysis. So I just
that is so weird. I never knew that, and you know what? That's exactly what I do.
Really?
Unreal. You know what I do though? I'll move my arm or my fingers until I can get it to fall off the side of the bed,
and then that'll work.
I feel like it'll break me out of it.
No
kidding.
That's
so crazy.
Oh my gosh, that actually does work.
About a good, it'll take me, I'll say like a minute,
right?
Maybe close to 2 minutes, but I'll finally get my pinky enough to get to the edge of the bed where I could just pull my whole arm, and then once it goes swinging, bam, I'll be able to pop out of it.
Oh my gosh, that's so
and
cool.
That's
I've never actually talked
real.
to anybody that have experienced that and then executed that move, and it works. That's so cool because I've only heard about
amazing. It. Right, it is. It's really cool that you just said that, and I've never even been aware of that. That's just I just figured I could try.
Wow.
That, and I would like turn maybe just something to get my body to get like in the full swing, and then I'll be able to break out of it. Like if I maybe turn my head to a certain way, drop to the side, that, or like I said, the classic thing where I would move my pinky or pull my hand towards the edge of the bed to where it just falls off the bed, and then I'll be able to break out of it.
So as far as the things in the room, do you get a sense as to what this is or who this is?
Oh gosh, I almost want to say no. I do want to say I don't want to know. I did know, but I remember one time in particular, I finally worked up enough nerve to open my eyes, and I saw something that freaked me out. It was like it was just it's like dematerializing as I was opening my eyes, but there was like a real tall, skinny guy with this big, giant, black brimmed hat.
Oh, yeah, the hat
and
man.
I don't know. Oh, is that what it is? I don't know. I'm so terrified. I don't like to read or watch sleep paralysis stories. I kind of tend to stay away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Hat Man is an entity that seems to come to people quite a bit, especially in their bedrooms. It may or may not be fully having to do with sleep paralysis or something like that. I can send you links if you want. I don't know if if you're trying to learn more about this stuff, or you're just kind of.
I always wanted to. I just don't have the nerve.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like maybe one day, man. But
just you let me know. If you want to, or or you and I can just hop on a call without recording,
right.
And I can just, if you want to hear about it, actually talk to.
Of course.
People about
maybe
this.
Maybe it'll help me. If other people can, relate or something like that.
Yeah.
Like me, just like searching stories.
Yeah. I've done a couple episodes on that. People that have seen it, and then there's also a documentary that's all about the Hat Man. And he's got like a cloak on, and he's got the wide brim hat, and you can never see his face. That's one of the things. Is like he's very elusive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah, it had like a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
And a big brim hat.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I'm getting scared now. Like
I don't want that. I don't want that. All right, let's change the subject. When you want to, we'll talk about it.
All right.
So, okay. So, obviously, things are still going on for you. And you're kind of just trying to go about your daily life, I'm sure, and do your normal thing.
But mind you, that's kind of as weird as it has been getting, like, of late.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Right.
I've been, honestly, as old as I am now, I've been, like, debating whether I would ask for that. And, you know, again, they say it's a gift. Depends on your perspective.
Right.
You know, like, thinking, like, should I ask for it back? But if I did, would that be opening up a Pandora's box? I mean, should I just completely just stay away?
Right. I mean, you are still having some activity, obviously, right? So.
Right. Yeah, but think about it. I mean, that as opposed to, like, Dogman and, like, the other thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's not as hardcore, you know?
I do wonder, I keep jumping back to Chris and his story. You know, if that was Chris that came back, and it's highly just speculation. I'm just being like, I'm going to take it like as far out as I can. And I'm going to say,
what? I'm
going to say that, no, they didn't bring Sloan back. You know, that was Chris.
Right.
I just wonder if, and I'm not trying to goad you into talking to Chris. I'm not doing that right now. I'm just saying that I just wonder if Chris ever talked, like, what would he say, right? About things that he could see or experience that he maybe has
know,
now.
Shannon, honestly.
Yeah.
I really want to know so bad.
Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to push you at all. I just was wondering, like, gosh, you know, because you're having all this stuff go on. And then you saw Chris go in this damn thing, and I mean, the stories he could tell, you know?
But
if he remembers, but I would say he does because he had that damn smile on his face.
Right. I was like, I can't believe I haven't worked up enough nerve yet.
No,
confront him.
I get that. No, I get that. It's not.
Like, yo, cousin, listen, you know, what happened that night? Just be real with me. But don't, you know, freak me out. Just give it to me straight up.
Well.
So, I don't know.
I don't blame you for not doing that. I'm sure that some days you're kind of going, oh my goodness me, I would just love to know what he would say, if he would say anything.
Right. I would love to know, you know.
See, but that smile, though, smile, though, makes me wonder, though, if he's going to say anything to you. That just is so mischievous and all-knowing and kind of, well, screw you, because obviously I know, but I'm not telling you anything.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. That smile just kind of changed the whole thing for me. I'm like, oh my God. I was not expecting the smile. Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
That says a lot, doesn't it? A simple smile.
Definitely. It really did. I mean, believe it or not, that changed the fact of how I was going to approach it any further after that. The smile.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because he pretty much just, you know, put the kibosh on anything. Because he said, oh, I know, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to give you this horrible knowing grin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you have any, and you, like I said, you and I will keep talking. It's not like you'll never hear from me again because we're going to be in touch. And if you want to learn about some more of this stuff, we can, maybe in small increments, right? Do you have any final thoughts for anybody listening or anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, just mainly just pray everybody really just be as safe as possible and try not to be last in line, if you know what I mean, pertaining to the 401 type thing, because literally that is so scary, you know, mainly because, like I said, of how fast that thing was. Blink of an eye.
Because what if you were in front of Chris, right? Would it have been you?
Right. Oh my gosh. I know. Holy.
Because that's what it sounds like, right? Because David says that in his books, right? I got the reference right away. Is don't be last in line. Right. So it makes you wonder. What if it was you in front and then he was coming up behind you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's messed up, man.
Well, not that you're not having your own experiences, though, right? So,
right. I mean, like, it's just, you know, it's messed up that it's happening to people and that it happened to my cousin like that. You know, I really feel bad for some of these people, you know, and also that the scientists and people are not taking this stuff more serious. Really, it's a shame because I believe a lot of things can be prevented. You know, maybe not all, but in a lot of ways, some of this stuff can be prevented. You know, by just being more acceptant and more consciously aware, you know, and just not trying to like throw things off, shrug things off, you know. Like,
really cool, and something that you just said kind of brought this up, but it'd be cool to get a scientist from CERN, right? And they're like opening up other dimensions, and they're playing with the God particle, quote unquote. It'd be great to get one of those guys on, and they're like, yeah, we can open up other dimensions. Not only can we, but they can do it on their terms and on their will whenever they want. And guess what? All of the dark creatures and the, what does H.P. Lovecraft call it? The old ones. The old ones are real, right? And they're in the other dimension, and they can interact with us at any time. It'd be great to get one of those guys on, and they go,
I actually
you know
don't know anything about that.
You probably don't. I don't even know a whole lot about the old ones. Just know that they're like...
No, I mean H.P. Lovecraft. Like,
yeah.
What is that?
Oh, he's an author. He wrote about all kinds of creepy crawlies and other dimensions and these massive creatures with tentacles.
Do you wonder if people like that know something that we don't know?
Absolutely.
I mean, where does all that material come from?
Absolutely.
You ever ask yourself that question?
Absolutely.
Like, where does these people get all this material from? You mean tell me people just conjure this stuff up in their mind?
I know.
Like from scratch?
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? Because it does make you wonder. Like, are their imaginations that good, or you know, are they another Mike and they're seeing the witch in the kitchen and then they draw it, you know, and then years later someone's like, oh my God, that was a drawing in a book that some guy said he saw, and I thought it was funny, but now it's not so funny.
You know?
Yeah, I'll have to do this stuff if you want.
Yeah, definitely.
That episode. I was talking about Ash when he was calling out. He got kind of lost, and he was calling out to people that should have been able to hear him, and they couldn't hear him. That was Muted Places. I don't remember the number. I never do, but I will send you the link to that if you want.
Yeah,
so you can hear that, because I literally was going, Ash, you were missing 411, and you got out of it. I mean, that's how astounding it was.
This guy was one of the 401 people?
Well, no, but I just was saying, like, it seemed like he was almost there, you know? Like it was like almost like he's in a bubble. No one could hear him. He was lost, but he was able to make it out. But he was freaking out there for a little bit. But I'll send you that.
So you're saying like something like that happened to him?
Yeah, it was almost like he knew where he was, and then all of a sudden he kind of was like, I don't quite know where I am, but I can see the people over there. And he was actually like in charge of these people, like he was the boss, right? And they're out in the field, they're out in the woods, or not in the woods, a field, and he's going, no, I'm going to play this cool because I'm the boss. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, I'm lost. But he eventually did. He eventually went, okay, I need to call out to those people because I don't know where I am. I'm lost, but I can see. It's an odd thing. You'll have to listen to it, but they didn't react to him.
I really want to hear that story.
Yeah,
wow. And
he's the boss. Who wouldn't? Are you gonna ignore the boss, like calling your name, and he sounds kind of distressed? No, it was two people, and he's like, they were ignoring me because they couldn't hear me. I'm like, oh my God, wow. That sounds familiar, right? I mean, if we're going off of other cases,
seriously,
yeah,
and. Man, that is freaky.
Yeah, I'll send you all that stuff. But we'll talk more about your location. I'd like to do a little background looking into it, and we can collaborate on some stuff. And if only whatever you're comfortable with, you know.
No, seriously, it makes it so much easier if I can just speak freely.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we'll be in touch for sure, and I'm gonna send you the links to those episodes come out. But
okay. Oh yeah, That's what I was going to ask you. I know, if you don't mind if I want to get off subject for a second.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you about the lady Pam.
Yes.
Man, she can help me out with so many questions that I had.
In fact, if once we get off this call, if you would message me and give me whatever information you want me to give her, and I'll pass it along so that she can get in contact with you.
Yeah, well, it's not so much, like it's just like from there's like little things that I thought I saw or maybe that I did see, and it was just like freaky, and I try to ignore it,
right?
That type of thing. And the fact that she knows, so much about, she has so much knowledge about that.
Yeah, and she knows what they look like. And doesn't that sound familiar? How many times has she said, I was told, right? She says, I ignore it. You just act like you don't see it, and you go on about your day.
Seriously.
Yeah, even though she knows what she saw.
I wanted the whole witch thing. Like, I kind of see that, but I was trapped.
Right.
I couldn't, it was like I couldn't get out of there because truth and trust me, I would have ignored that for sure. I knew that she was too skinny to be any one of my family members, and too tall, and
right. Like there's no way to not put it in the box.
I'm so glad I remember this. That is what I wanted to talk to you about, and mostly Pan. Have you ever seen the movie, The Spiderwick Chronicles? It's a kids movie, but
I have not. I've heard of it, but I've not seen it. I got to write it down.
Shannon, I can't believe that you haven't seen that. And the fact that we're into this type of stuff in this world, I can't believe that you haven't seen that.
So is that it? I mean, is it FRAY stuff or what is it?
Yeah, mostly. That's what the whole movie's about. That FRAY stuff. Yep.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. I've just never watched it. I will watch. We can converse about it.
On Amazon, I know for sure.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Shannon, when you see that movie, I want to know your reaction.
Okay.
Please call me and
I will watch it. That's my homework.
Watch that movie. It's wow. I mean, everything that we're talking about has a little, it touches on, but mostly the FRAY stuff is what it's all about.
Okay, I will check that out. I promise.
Okay, and yeah, that was what I had so much with Pam, mostly about that movie because of things like that I've came across in my lifetime, and it just, when I seen that movie, I was like, I wanted to know if she seen things like that, or does she think that could be, maybe this guy has seen, or whoever the author, Spiderwick guy, who was like, this stuff real, you know what I mean? Has he or was that just straight from imagination? You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
This is a really random question, especially to come at the end like this, but do you know your blood type?
No, and I've been trying to figure out if I should ask the next time I go to see my doctor. That is my next question.
I mean, you know what I'm getting at with that, right? So,
definitely.
Some people say there's a tie-in with the Rh negative. So.
Could you imagine, do you ever think, how many people don't know their blood type?
I mean, yeah, I think that a huge portion of the population
do
not know.
Portion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I definitely want to find out my blood type, and that is crazy. And you ever notice that they don't push that envelope, to let you know about your blood type? You ever think that there's something going on that they don't want us to know about?
But they are the ancestry stuff, which is interesting, right? What are they doing with all that information? I don't think it's just a money racket. I think there's got to be something behind that. I brought that up a couple shows ago, Right.
Is there any show in particular that you want me to check out, off your head?
For what subject?
Any subject. Just something that, stood out that you really found interesting. Even if it's something that we touched on already. I'm just have a lot of time on my hands.
I'm gonna send you, there's already 2 or 3 that I know of, but let me think on it, and because not even just from my own show, I have a couple in mind, but I just need to go find them. and track them down, I will send those to you. Absolutely. I just don't want to inundate you or overwhelm you and stress you out. So just if I get overwhelming, just be like, okay, Shan, I need a break.
No, not at all, man. You've been great, Shannon. I mean,
okay. Thank you.
It's so wonderful to have somebody out there. And I think what you're doing is amazing. I mean that, and I really mean keep up the good work and keep fighting the good fight, because we need more people out there like you. Seriously, Shannon.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
But really, if I was going to leave you with something, I mean, really be careful. It seems like things always get creepy with people that are trying to figure out things, if you know what I mean, without saying too much.
No, yeah, I understand.
Like, really be careful.
Yeah, I try to.
I
try to.
Something seems too weird, or you feel like, you're getting too deep down the rabbit hole, just there's nothing wrong with you backing off.
Yeah.
But that's it, though.
No, I appreciate that.
And I hope we can, become great friends, and, and you can help me out with a lot of things with this, because it's hard being able to have somebody that you can talk to about this kind of stuff. You just find people every day that you can
you can't.
Freely.
No, you can't. You can't bring this stuff up to just anybody.
What the hell is wrong with you? Like, what kind of stuff you smoking this morning?
Exactly. They're like, oh, you smoking and haven't slept in 2 weeks? What's your problem? Yeah, no. I totally, I've been dealing with that for a long, long time. So I completely understand that.
Oh, and one last question.
Yeah.
Have you ever encounter anything or anything weird? Does anybody ask you that?
Yeah, I mean, just the shadow people. I haven't really explained the story in full in a long time, but I mean, I can also send you that. It's not a super long story or anything, but I saw 4 shadow figures running in the woods in broad daylight when I was 12 or 13 years old. So around the same time that's why I bring up the age thing, and
it's so weird. It happens around that age.
I mean, puberty time, and then it seems like once we hit a certain age, it's like
a transition, right?
There's kind of a wall that goes up, and of course, some people like you, they still do experience some stuff, but it seems like that really formative crap your pants stuff happens around that time. So, and I know. Who knows what that really is, if we're just more open then, and then when we're adults we get more jaded and salty, and we're busy, bills and stress and all that stuff. But but I was broad daylight and I saw those 4 shadow figures running in the woods, and I was actually on a 4-wheeler hauling ass, and I was going fast, and they were keeping up with me, and I was like 5 seconds, and it changed everything. It's all it takes. Like you said earlier, that changed everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, though. And then you're just hooked. For good or for good or bad, you're hooked.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
We're stuck in this together. So, you and I are going to collaborate. We're going to talk about some more stuff. I'll send you some stuff. I'm sure you're going to find stuff to send me. And
definitely.
I will make sure to get you in touch with Pam.
That's very greatly appreciated.
You bet. Yeah, no problem. All right, my friend.
Wow.
Well, I've kept you long enough. Huge high five.
No problem.
All right, bye.
Well, I'm so-and-so. I was given this name by my parents. I've been to such and such a college. I've done these things in my profession. I produce a little biography. Buddha says, forget it. That's not true. That's some story. That's all gone. That's all past. I want to see the real you are now. Well, nobody knows who that is. Because we don't know ourselves except through listening to our echoes and consulting our memories. But then there's a real you, and that again leads us back to this question. Who are you? That is the real you. We shall see how they play with this exam by the cohorts to get you to come out of your shell and find out who you really are. that after your funeral, you will suddenly become somebody different, living somewhere else. They will say reincarnation means this, that if you sitting here now are really convinced that you're the same person who walked in at the door half an hour ago, you're being reincarnated. If you are liberated, you will understand that you're not. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. There is only the present. That's the only real you that there is. The Zen master Dogman put it in this way. He said, spring does not become the summer. First there is summer, and then there is spring. When you settle down in the train to read your newspaper and so on, you are not the same person who a little while ago left the platform. If you think you are linking your moments up in a chain. And this is what binds you to the wheel of birth and death. But when you know that every moment in which you are is the only moment, this comes into Zen. A master will say to somebody, get up and walk across the room. And he comes back and he says, where are your footprints? They've gone. So where are you? Who are you? When we are asked who we are, we usually give a kind of recitation of a history.